So, good morning, everyone. Today is one of the special day to me as I'm taking my first step as a creatorpreneur, and I'm so pumped to host my first episode with my dear professor, Mr. Adnan Alak. So, Professor, how is your day going on?
It's professor's academic days. Like it starts with well dressed, but all stress.
Awesome. So, as a business enthusiast, I'm going to ask all the business related questions, career related questions to my professor that I have in my mind. So, if you're curious, welcome to this channel. You're watching Diary of Vishal Anirudh. Without delaying further, let's get into today's show. So, Professor, I wanted to ask you most interesting question, which I know the answer, but I wanted the audience to know. So, how many degrees have you got till now?
It's a tricky thing. Usually, I don't even write a doctor in front of my name. But if we include all the certifications, degrees, diploma, and bona fides, then it's 78.
We are struggling here to do 1 degree, and you got 78. So, do you study like 24 into 7?
That's the recipe. I don't study. That's why the first thing is I don't take stress of a degree. Like I go with the flow. Like I don't know how much I can tell you on record, but uh, there's a very interesting story that I was once enrolled in a university, in a state university, without proper enrollment, and I studied there for a few years. Got like distinction, and when I topped the university, they find out that I had no enrollment. So I was studying for free without any enrollment. And I was paying. So because my idea was I never focused on degree. The grades were never important for me. And that's when I teach, I say, don't study for numbers. Numbers is an indirect insult of your intelligence. Knowledge, skills, abilities, these are the most important thing. So I study free mind, like completely free. I don't take the stress that I'll fail or pass. I'm doing my best. If it works, it's good. If it doesn't work, there's always next approach, next time. So maybe that's the recipe that I ended up with so many.
Oh yeah, awesome. So, so could you explain the roadmap to the audience? Start with your journey from the time you finished 12th grade to the stage where you're right now.
Oh, that's even like when people say 78, they say, "Oh, that's so straightforward." But there's been like a twisted
Oh yeah.
road.
Yes.
So, I was in my school life, I got a promotion from 7 to 9 jump. So I never studied grade 8. So those who were my friends become my junior, and those who were my seniors becomes my colleagues. So there was a rivalry. When I ended up, I went to State College, which is DJ Science, and Deenanath Jagdish College. It was one of the best in Karachi at that time. And on a merit, I went there. But then, due to some circumstances and the change in my life, in my family responsibilities, I had to take a break from studies for 5 years, academic break. But in this 5 years, I was doing is diplomas, degrees to ensure that I come back. So after grade 12, I had to take a break 5 years, and when I went back, I had to redo grade 12 because my percentage was it reduces with the time frame. So even if I was on 78, it becomes 53 for 5 years, no studies, 5% every year. So I decided to go for a diploma in business administration, and that was equivalent. But at this time, I studied at technical board. So I started my career with pre-medical, moved to pre-engineering in DJ science, and then I went to diploma in business administration, which is like completely a new field. And I took it because not because I wanted to be a businessman, but I had a lot of students and I used to give tuitions. So they said, we are studying accounting, and I've never, that will benefit me and my students. So I did the diploma in business administration. I topped that college continuously, like all my previous institution. So then I went into state university, but I missed out on admission. But I studied there for 3 years without enrollment. And it's interesting that my name was never written on attendance sheet. So I'll go to the professors and say, Professor, my name is Adnan Haq, and my roll number is missing. And they'll say, okay, let me give you roll number. So my roll number was 005. I don't know how they gave me, because it's all in sequence and then there's nothing and then they added instead of 5005, because DNN, it's alphabetically it was for fifth name. So I used to ask them, can you please give me an attendance? And then I paid the vouchers, paid the fees, and when I completed my bachelor's public administration, well, I got distinction. I topped the university, but in the bracket it was written withheld. Well, why is withheld? Because everybody didn't know about it, but I know deep down that I was studying without a degree. I know I won't get a degree. I had no enrollment. So the dean asked me, the chair asked me, what's going on? And were you registered? Did you know that? I say, yeah, I know. I did not. I wasn't registered. And that was a very interesting question that my, at that time, a chair of the department said, do you know that your 3 years have gone wasted? You won't get any degree because you are not enrolled. And I said, yes, sir, I know the consequences. When I was leaving the room, I turned around and said, sir, do you know how many students are in the class? They said, how many? I said, 110 students, and I'm 111th. Yeah. Those 110 could not do what I did without enrollment. Is enrollment important? And then they decided that they should give me admission for the bachelor's in my master's program. So my enrollment was ready in my master's program. And then I was moved to my master's program, which I did officially, legally from the system. And then I got opportunity as a scholarship to go to UK and do my further studies. So I did a postgraduate diploma, then leadership diploma, and then I went for MBA, and then for Doctor of Business Administration. So and still like PMP, ACP, I'm doing, like, because I don't have the stress. So I don't know why the journey started, where the journey started, but I from school life I was not a good student, and that's the reason I've always enjoyed studies, is because I had no burden from my parents, no expectation. They only wanted me to pass, and when I went, yeah, but I had a rule that I have studied in often I would study in groups because I had no money to pay for the books. So I'll ask the class fellows, do you have a problem in statistics? Yes, come to me. I'll teach you, right? So I'll sit on a tea stall, hotels, the tea stalls at dhabas, and ask them, bring the books, I can teach you. While teaching them, I'll learn, right? And I'll make my notes, right? So that's how I studied. And without books, and for me bookish knowledge was never important. It's all about the concepts, so there was never stress, right? And I often thought that this is the best way to go about things, that you should be relaxed. You learn better when you explain to others rather than learning your own. And the problem was, in our society, memorizing was a lot of thing issue important, right? And from my school life, to teachers, I was a dull student because I could not memorize it, right? But
I,
it,
I think everyone can just
like,
think like when we were in 12th, the CBSE board, we used to memorize like everything.
Mhm,
So yeah, the word you told memorize, got. And once I came into Canada, I mean the whole study pattern was changed, like
mhm,
immediate drastic change. And
mhm.
when I was studying in your course, like there was no learning activities. There was all the learning activities was being done like when done in class. I was thinking, wow, no
Yeah.
need to memorize anything very good.
And do you know what? Why the reason is that my activities were in the class, because from school life I hate homeworks and I don't want homeworks. So why would, if I don't like it, my students shouldn't have it. That's my philosophy. So I always say, hey, do it in class. No homework, no stress. That's important.
Awesome. And it's I think it's 2 p.m., almost 2:30 p.m. in Toronto, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's
still you're so much energetic. So my next question comes here.
yeah.
So actually, like I wouldn't say I have already read. I'm trying to read a book right now, which
Mhm,
is Atomic Habits by James Clear. So the
mhm,
ultimate focus of this book is focusing on systems rather than goals. So I
mhm.
wanted to ask you this question: how does your normal day look like from morning till you go back to sleep? Mainly, if you could tell us what your 5 a.m. morning routine looks like, which helps you activate your energy and maintain your productivity for the rest of the day.
Yeah. So now that the seasons are changing and the class dynamics change, everything changed, right? So I'm a night owl. So I usually sleep very late, and usually 4 to 5 hours sleep is enough for me. So so what happens is that before I used to go to gym, hit gym at 5 and then come back and prepare. But nowadays, after COVID, a lot of things change. And now I live in a countryside, so I can't have that luxury. So usually when I wake up at 5:36, I just if my classes are starting at 9, so I'll awaken at this time, get fresh, go to the university. Once I reach out, I'll print out everything, etc. Once I come from university, it's like almost 4:30, 5, and then I'll just have a quick shower, have my tea, first tea, so I have no breakfast in the entire this time, and my energy is the same level, right? But I live on tea, right? So I'll just have my tea, start creating the students' activity that they did in the class. And it's the time that I'll give my parents most of the time if they are available. Let's sit with them, talk to them. Should I have meal at 6? Usually I'll have. If no, then I'll live on tea, sleep on tea. That's how it is. But the day end up with somewhere at 2 or 12 in between. If it's 6, if I have a rest next day, so it can go up to 5 a.m. and then I'll wake up at 9. But usually it's all on academic perspective. Like and the good thing is I don't have a routine, a strict routine. I know that if you make a routine, you're making a habit, and it's difficult to break habits. So I don't follow one routine. I'll always shuffle. On Saturdays, it's a different story. When I come, it's a UFC, so I sit with my brother and brother-in-law and watch UFC, or if it's a soccer or something, I'll watch. But usually, it goes with academics. Like when people ask me, "What is your teaching philosophy?" I tell them it's not a profession; it's a passion, right? I teach, 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 and even in my dreams, I teach.
Oh yeah, passion. Yeah, I love that word passion. Like
Yeah.
people are just thinking that job is like work, but if you have the passion, that is like totally different. So even like for me, if I'm focused with one job, I just keep on, I focus a lot. I don't care about what is happening around me. I don't eat, I don't drink water, I don't take breaks, just keep on working. And when I was making the script for this podcast, I just sat an entire day without eating, without drinking water, without taking any breaks. I was thinking, like, okay, this is called passion, this is called work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I often say to my students and people around me that don't look for a dream job. Make your job your dream, right? Something you love, you're passionate about it, do it, irrespective of what people think about you. It's okay, and don't be afraid of failure. It's not the failure that is the problem. It's the fear of failure that stops us
Mhm.
from trying it. So if you're passionate about it, and you like yesterday, it was just yesterday in a class, I said to students, how many of you go to mosque, church, temple, or gurdwara or somewhere for your ease? And a lot of people raised their hands. And I said, you know, m- my prayers, my mosque is teaching, right? I'm passionate
Wow.
about it, right?
Wow.
So you don't cheat in your religion, I don't cheat in my religion. It's not a profession, it's a passion. I live it, so I'm spending my time, make it worth to you, so ensure that you also show the same commitment. So you're right that if you're passionate about something, you don't care about meals. So that's why maybe I don't care about meal anymore.
And even you don't even take breaks at all. Like,
Yeah.
and in
One of the criticism I often get is that no breaks.
so yeah, and I think that this podcast show could be my another passion because I love talking. I love talking with people. I think that ignites my energy.
Yeah. You learn less from books, more from interacting with people, right? So
Exactly.
often people ask me, which book would you recommend me? I'll say, I'll recommend you people, read people, meet them, and you learn more because if you remember, I had a theme of my lectures always. There was a background theme that starts, and I used to show it to the students and say, at the end, I'll decode it for you. And the
Yeah.
decode was always that there's a bird, there's a book. And I used to say that bookish knowledge will only make you limited to a certain way, but the activities I have is to make you creative. I can't give you wings to fly, but I can give you a courage to fly. So students I want them to be creative. And that's why when you're creative, the passion automatically comes to you that, yeah, I want to try something new.